Good morning,
So,
Bonnie and
hello.
everybody. Yeah, sorry. Hi.
Good morning, Cynthia. Welcome, everyone. Samhain 2020. It's a pretty exciting day. A lot of magical energy floating around. And I'd like to welcome everyone on behalf of Wise Transformation in our community. Welcome to Samhain 2020, Once in a Blue Moon. So, hope everyone is well this morning and excited about quite a magical day. So, to begin, let's call in sacred space with our feet on the ground and breathing in the beautiful fresh air of this season. Cooler climes in some places, just filling your lungs with that magnificent breath of life. Thank you to the air realm for that. Calling in the majesty and the epic magic of this amazing day as the wheel of the year continues to turn, continues to bring us into a new season with a promise of new things, new energies, and old, and the honoring of the old. We welcome the ancestors from far and wide, ancestors that we know of, ancestors that we've never met, on whose shoulders we stand because it was they who brought us here in their seed. What a wonderful gift. Calling in all the elements, earth, water, air, and particularly fire, to warm us inside and out, and asking Spirit to hold us ever gently as we move through this time of great change, as we look back and as we look forward. We express our gratitude for the myriad blessings that are ours every day. We are so fortunate to live where we live, to have the means to communicate in this way, with roofs over our heads and food on our table. May we remember those less fortunate that we are, and we are, and give thanks every day for what is ours. And so it is. Aho
So it is.
and a win. So, once in a blue moon, let's talk about blue moon because thanks to the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School, I learned some very interesting facts from the Smithsonian Institute. We here in this country talk about the fact that blue moon means that it's the second full moon of the month. And what the Smithsonian has uncovered is that it means that there are four full moons from equinox to solstice or solstice to equinox, not two full moons in a month. So that was the original understanding. It's also said that sometimes the full moon was seen through smoke by the indigenous peoples, and so it appeared blue. So we have lots of ways to hold this blue moon, and I'm going to let you decide what's true for you
Hmm.
around the blue moon. So here we are, Samhain, the Day of the Dead. It has been celebrated in indigenous populations for centuries. In Mexico, prior to the 16th century, it was a 2 month celebration because not only were they celebrating the Day of the Dead, but they were also celebrating the fall harvest and the reaping of all the beauty and the lushness. And you can see from this picture all the decorations and the live flowers that adorn the grave sites and around the cemeteries on this day. It's also, for some indigenous peoples, a celebration of the new year. And astrologically, sometimes we do look at Samhain as the beginning of a new year, the end of the old and the bringing in of the new. So it's celebrated in many, many different ways around the world. One thing is for sure, we're always holding as sacred those who have gone before. So in Ireland, it's the Great Fire Feast. And it's believed that long before the Celts ever arrived, the indigenous peoples were celebrating with fire. And they had these huge bonfires, just absolutely amazing. So you can see from this picture that they spared they spared no wood in the creation of these amazing fires. So this is a time for connection to our beloved dear ones. And I want to chat with you just a minute about what that means. So normally when we think about the beloved who have passed, we think about our families, parents, grandparents, those that we have known, those that we haven't known. And I'm just wondering, have we ever stopped to think about the honoring of our mentors, people who helped us reach a point in our lives where we are now? And if it weren't for those people, we might not have traveled the path that we have traveled. We might not be here. We might not find ourselves in the midst of a spiritual tribe, a spiritual community. We've had heroes and heroines through our lives, people who have shown us the way. I wonder if we think about them at this time of the year. And I think I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about our animal friends, the sweet, sweet energies from our animal friends who have gone before us and moved to the dark light. They comforted us and they gave us unconditional love. And some of them we hold dear and we hold close to our hearts to this day. So maybe this is also something that you want to think about. And in Wiccan tradition, all of these entities are honored on the Day of the Dead as beloveds. We're going to talk a little bit about ancestral lineage as well. Just wanted us to stop and think for a moment about all of the entities that we want to honor today. We want to think about and call to our memory, who have paved the way for us and given us light to illuminate our path. So just a moment to think about them. And while we're talking about ancestors and those who came before, I want to share with you a teaching from one of my dear, dear priestess sisters, Cherie Lyon, who talked and taught us about the different kinds of ancestral lineage we have. And I think it's really important that we take a moment and consider this as well. So of course, we know our family of origin, our familial ancestors, our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents. And as I've mentioned, those that we don't know as well. So of course, those are probably the first ones that come to our minds. We also have cultural ancestors, people who have taught us through the media, through our readings, So many different folks out there with amazing teachings. And I, just give you a couple of examples. Oprah Winfrey, of course, what a wonderful teacher she still is. And Dr. Wayne Dyer, who really paved the way for many of us to know that we're okay just the way we are. So taking a look around and seeing all these cultural ancestors, both living and gone before, they're amazing. Their teachings have changed us and shown us the way. So, as we're honoring today, let's include some of those cultural ancestors. Now, the third category are the spiritual ancestors. So, those have taught us to be kinder, to be more loving, more compassionate, more gentle with ourselves and with others, like the Dalai Lama and Buddha. And it just occurred to me too that our animal friends are also our spiritual ancestors. They taught us so much about how to love and how to give without regard to ourselves. So while we're thinking about our spiritual ancestors, let's include them too. They touched our hearts. They made us better people. So everybody take a deep breath. Yeah. And I'm going to give you some time to consider family, loves in your life, friends, human or furry, that you'd like to connect with while the veils between the worlds is the thinnest that it's going to be at any time in this year or next year till this time, a year from now. So who are they? Where would you like to meet them? You want to meet them here, where they are, on an unearthly plane? Where would you like to meet them? And what do you want them to know? What do you want to share with them that you never had the chance to do while they were here? So I'm going to get you some music. Bear with, and then I'll bring the slide back up. And give some consideration to all of these questions, who they are, where you want to meet them, and what you want to say. And I'll give you a few moments to do that. So, how was that journey and how are you feeling? And is there anything that you would like to share about the encounter that you had, or who you met and where you met them and what you talked about?
I'll share.
Good morning, beautiful Sharon.
Good morning, precious. My journey was to reunite with my daughter, Melissa, who is in spirit. And it was really wonderful in that we met between the worlds. And the sensing I got is that it was a very neutral place, which was wonderful, very level and very neutral. And it was a joyful reunion. And I got to tell her some things that I wished that I had told her when she was still on this plane on Earth. And it was sweet. It was reunion. It was a very sweet reunion. And it just occurred to me that I have been grieving Melissa for the last week a lot, and I wasn't making the connection to the veil becoming thinner as we approached Samhain. And her son, Shane, who we raised, had his birthday on October 28th. And I was particularly sad that day, thinking about Melissa so much, about her bringing him into this world and just missing her so dearly. And now I'm making all the connections right now. It's amazing that I didn't put that together. But yet today on Samhain, I'm not grieving and sad. I'm feeling at peace about it. So yeah, that was my journey.
Thank you, Sharon. That
Yeah.
was so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Anyone else wish to share their experience, their journey, anything about how they're feeling, what's coming up for you around this day?
I can share a little. And I apologize for not having my camera on. I just got this email today and I decided to be part of it. I'm not familiar with all of this, but my heart was calling me to just come. And I didn't know how this worked, but I decided to connect with my dog and my grandmother who won my dog. I never truly saw her because I was so busy surviving and struggling. But I do realize that she took a lot of my illnesses, and she was an incredible dog that I noticed she faced many deaths and she would never die. um, and that's when I realized she was taken by illnesses. So I decided to write. So that's where I went with this, to start writing and feeling her and seeing that we're meeting in a forest, and just telling her how much I appreciate her and how much I love her. And the other one was with my grandma, who I didn't grew up with, but she was kind of cruel. But I wanted to send her love and appreciation because I wasn't aware of all the divine energy, and know that she was that way because I believe she suffered, and I wasn't wise enough to help her or send her love. So I wrote about her too and sending her all my love and my peace and my joy, and that she's well. So with this paper that I wrote, I have a question. Should I burn it? What can I do with it? Thank you.
What is your gut reaction? What is your intuition telling you, Juliana, would be the right thing for you at this moment?
Since I didn't realize it was the Day of the Dead, and I didn't even know it was the full moon. It calls me to burn it, like in a ritual, kind of like I don't know how to say it, but kind of like a release.
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. And if you wanted to, you could also bury the ashes as another symbolic gesture. Not necessary, but just an idea. And whatever you feel called to do is going to be the right thing.
Now, I do have my dog's ashes for about 2 years.
Oh,
And I know I've heard that it's not good to hold on to ashes. And so I was planning on planting a tree, but I never got to it. So I could do that with the paper too, together with the ashes.
absolutely. Absolutely. You will know what's right. You will trust. You can trust your intuition and trust that you're being guided to what's absolutely perfect for you to do at this moment. You will know.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And thank you for having the courage to jump in and join us. It's very nice to have you on board, Juliana.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to share? We have a few more folks on the line. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, I'll share. This is Cynthia. Good morning. And
Morning, Cynthia.
I'm actually manifesting visually as my little poodle here, the brown one, that she's currently right here next to me. But I also, during this meditation, had a visit with my standard poodle, had her for 18 years, and she was just, just like constant companion and really a long-term relationship, 18 years. And then I had a visit with my little childhood dog, and my parents came to me, and it was very, very bright light, just beaming sun. I don't know if it was sunlight, but it was just very bright light. I didn't see their physical forms necessarily, but I felt their souls, and I told them I loved them and that I was sorry for any disappointment or suffering, anguish I caused them, which was considerable, and asked for their forgiveness, and told them I would see them someday again. But I felt them near. And then I called out the names of my grandparents, two of whom I never met, and it was a nice experience. Thank you.
I'm so glad. So glad. Awesome. You did a lot of work there in that short period of time.
Well, it inspired.
Great. Great. Anyone else, anything moving for anyone they want to share? Okay. So let me get us back. All right. So we journaled and we shared. And so as well as all those other things going on with Samhain and Day of the Dead and the New Year and the harvest, we have some really interesting things going on in the skies. So the sun is in Scorpio and the moon is in Taurus. Now, the Scorpio archetype is pretty intricate. It's very deep. It's a water sign, and it takes us on a really deep dive. The moon in Taurus is an earth sign, and it's pretty simple. It's about enjoying life's pleasures on the earthly plane. taste and smell and texture and all of our senses come to life with Taurus. It's a very sensual time. And while it's a sexual time, it's sensual in terms of an appreciation of all the things that we get to appreciate because we're in earthly form. So think about, we've got all this intricate water stuff going on and this simple Taurus stuff going on. And so it's a balance. There's a lot of different energies and mysteries going on. It's all at play at this time. So it's important to understand that we may be moving with those energies at the same time. So think about it in terms of all those energies and the harvest, and we're coming into the dark part of the year, Day of the Dead when the veil is the thinnest. So we talked about blue moon and what that meant. So if you just take a look at this picture and you see all the things going on at one time, and we put on top of that, for those of us in the United States, an upcoming very important day on Tuesday, an election day. And it's kind of a 52 pickup kind of day where everything is sort of thrown into the air, and where it's going to land, nobody really knows. So we want to really honor ourselves during this time when we're feeling the push and the pull, the push of going deeply into the Scorpio water and the pull of wanting to be more relaxed and grounded with the Taurus full moon. So I'd like you to just drop into your body for a minute and just kind of feel at the same time you're connecting to your really strongest emotions, your deepest water. And Scorpio is about extremes. So your water can be icy cold or it can be steamy hot. And at the same time, Taurus is saying, sit back, relax, have some Taurus time, have a cup of tea with a scone, have some chocolate covered strawberries. So I was put in mind of, I think it's in Dr. Dolittle, the push me, pull you animal that had two heads and going in different directions. And I think that this time is kind of akin to what that feels like. So whatever's coming up for you, and you may feel like you're bouncing back and forth between a deep emotional time and I just, girls just want to have fun kind of time. So just understanding that we may not be able to understand why we are jumping back and forth in our feelings. So we're going to spend some time with that because I think it's really important to help us move through that time, through this time with those energies. And at the same time, Taurus is conjunct with Uranus. And that means that the emotions are going to be very changeable. So you've got the deep water, you've got the deep emotional water, and you've got Uranus doing all these changeable things, and Taurus. So we're going to spend some time letting you explore where you are. And I've got some more questions. We'll put on some more music. How are you responding at this point to outside stimuli? Are you allowing what's coming through in mass consciousness to affect you? Or are you able to protect yourself? And when things are coming through, what are you doing with them? How are you reacting? The other thing we want to think about is Mother Earth is in some pretty serious pain right now. And she's expressing that through fire, through water, through wind, and through the earth itself, earthquakes, hurricanes, fires. So how can we help her as well? The way to get to that is deciding what you'd be willing to bring up to clear and change. Because all of these things, however they are coming up for you, if they are causing you any discomfort or any emotional angst, what needs to come up and get cleared at this time? So I'm going to give you some more music, really putting you to work today. Having you do your inner work is pretty important at this point in time. So we'll go back to the music. I'll bring that slide back up. And you can consider those questions and work with them in whatever way seems appropriate for you. You can answer one of them, all of them, none of them, or just feel what you're feeling. take just another minute or two and finish up. You can always continue this after the call is complete. Well, yet another journey, another way of diving deep within, and this time, really personal insights. If anyone would like to share what came up around those questions, I know we'd love to hear. And when you share in community, it always helps everyone else. Sometimes what you have to share will make you go, oh, yeah. It helps someone else go, yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's true for me too. So would love to hear.
Hi, Bonnie, ladies.
Good morning, Catherine.
This has kind of been, the whole year has been unusual, but, and I found the quietness and the solitude, but our church has a custom every year. And for the last 2 weeks, we usually had a scroll that we wrote the names of our beloved that had passed away, and it hung from the rear windows. But this year we were asked to write each individual a letter or a note and put them in a basket. So for the last 2 weeks, yeah, that's kind of been reflecting on this, what we call the thin time, and going back to looking at what was said earlier. I was looking at grandparents that I had never met in Ireland, and they died during the last pandemic in the Spanish flu on that, so I never knew them whatsoever. And that included my mother's father. I knew my grandmother, my mother's mother, but not her father. And this is a beautiful time of the year for the simple fact that, yes, nature is closing down, and we're called to go within also, because we're spending more time at home usually, and especially now we are. And so you have more time for reflection. And that's what I've been kind of looking at this past 6-7 months, is the quiet time that I have been allowed to look at different things and reflect on them, because I sit in my sitting area, and I'm looking out the front of my house, and I've seen the change of seasons. I've seen all the plants that I put in last spring come to life, and now they're coming to their end of their fruit for this year. So this is a special time. And we also looking at our deceased friends, relatives, friends, our furry friends, because my 2 dogs are deceased, well, actually 3 dogs, and what joy they brought to me. And do I still miss all of them? Yes. So it's a peaceful time.
Thanks,
But
Catherine.
I also remember my mother telling me about the bonfires in Ireland and the spirits running around, because they did roam on that. Yes. The fairies on that. Sharon, I love your outfit.
Thank you.
She's amazing. Thank you, Catherine. That was so lovely. Thank you very much for sharing. Anyone else? Love to hear from you. We have a few more minutes.
Well, for me, it's kind of the opposite of Catherine. And that even though this is my favorite time of the year as well, I come alive in the autumn, in the fall. I love the dark half of the year for the opportunities that we have for introspection. However, uh, as time marches on, each day I have become increasingly more anxious, really aware of the anxiety in my body, mind, and spirit, um, especially in my body. And it's created physical aches and pains, a lot of physical aches and pains. And each day I get more anxious than the day before, and I know what it's about. Um, as a sacred space holder for humanity, there's just so much going on the planet right now, and I am absorbing that, and I'm not doing a great job of protecting myself from that. I'm a sponge for that, always have been. Anyway, so in addition to Mercury being in retrograde, which has its own challenges, I will say the upcoming presidential election in the US and what that is creating vibrationally is like, wow. And COVID-19, those three things together, I'm like a cat on a hot tin roof. What I have done is I have increased my prayer time and my meditation time. Um, and not just to hold sacred space for humanity, however, for myself too. I'm trying to calm myself down because I'm feeling extremely anxious and I can't wait for Tuesday to come and be gone. And I've been praying a lot about that, um, for me to accept whatever happens. And of course, I have my own thoughts and feelings and hopes and wishes for that. However, if it doesn't turn out the way I'm hoping, I'm praying for acceptance because I still believe, I really deeply, deeply believe that whatever happens, it will be for the greater good, no matter how it plays out on the screen. We just, I just really, I have to believe that. Anyway, I'm really anxious, very, very anxious. So, yeah, as I say that, I'm sitting here drinking more coffee, right? Iced coffee. Okay, so that's where I am on everything right now. I'm really feeling a lot of anxiety.
Thank you for being willing to speak into that, Sharon. I think many of us are feeling exactly the same way.
Mm.
And the ability to accept is going to be the one that does us the most good because it, it's, as they say, it is what it is. And if we've done our part, then we just sit back. I love the phrase let go and let God, because I believe that we do everything we can to that point when there's no more we can do. And then it's time to let go. And the God of your understanding, whatever that is, turn it over and release from the outcome to give yourself peace, because you deserve it. You deserve to have peace.
Thank you.
Thanks, dear. Anyone else want to share? Okay, so we will go back and see if I can get the screen moving again. I've got a chat coming in. Let me see what that is. No, it doesn't want to come up. Come up, chat. Bear with just for a minute, and let me see if I can get this thing open. Cynthia says, Sharon, thank you for articulating anxieties, feeling similarly. Yeah. Thanks, Cynthia. Okay. So now all I have to do is get the screen moving. Oh, another chat. Juliana said, that is exactly what I wrote too. Yeah. So using the elements, your connection to spirit, all of that will help give you the strong inner core you need to get through this time. So I'm going to give you, everybody's anxious and feeling like they'd like to do something. So here's some ideas about things you can do to honor Samhain. Because in many indigenous communities, food was huge, big part of Day of the Dead. So bake some bread or make your favorite recipe. The best way to move anxiety is through action. And doing some of these things might help. Burning incense. Find a way to have fire. If you have a fire pit or a fireplace, bring fire, ask fire to be with you today. If you have any autumn flowers, get them, put them in a vase, do something with the beauty of the season. This afternoon, I'm going to my parents' gravesite. I haven't been, I'm embarrassed to say, in many years. And they're only about an hour away. So at this time, this is where I want to go. This is where I want to be. And I'm taking my son and daughter-in-law with me. There's also a small Holocaust museum at the cemetery where my parents are buried. And I'd like to go in there if it's open and just feel the presence of those who gave their life.
Mm.
So all of those things are possibilities for honoring the day.
1770.
Other thing, I'm just going to go ahead and mute you, Catherine.
0.
Okay. This is an amazing, amazing movie, and it's on Netflix, called Coco. It's animated. It's amazing. And the song from this picture won an Academy Award. And it's about this young boy who, through chance happenings, visits the land of the dead and is able to find his family's story. So I would say grab a tissue and, if nothing else, watch Coco sometime over the weekend. It's really beautiful. All right, so as we're coming to a close, and I am hopefully able to get the screen to move again. It's so crazy. And it's Mercury retrograde. So I'm just rolling with. Just would like to open it up to everyone. What is your takeaway today? What is it that you want to put front and center, first and foremost, for you on this very sacred, meaningful day? So I'd love to hear from everyone.
I can share.
Okay.
For me, I really love your teachings or this session. It was not what I expected, but I loved it. It taught me things, for example, like through this period that I'm going through, and I see it's not only me, the knowing that I can put incense and bring flowers inside and release this energy through some actions. It really is supporting me because I didn't know that. And connecting with knowing that today is the Day of the Dead, and it's more than that. Just it would just pass unnoticed. It connect me to finally get myself to write what I truly felt about my dog and connect with my grandmother, and probably open up today to do something special, something for nature. Go outside in nature and maybe even plant a tree today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Juliana. We'd love to have you join our community. If you go to wisetransformation.com and join our community, we would love to have you and see you at other events.
For sure, I'll go and check it out. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Who else? What are you taking away today?
That each season, each time of the year has a unique gift to give to us. Today, we're aware of our ancestors, and I'm grateful for them, for what they have given me and allowed me to become. So that is what I'm grateful for. And for you, dear lady, always a beautiful presentation that I always get so much out of. And Sharon, I love your outfits.
Thank you. Thanks.
It's always a joy to have you with me, Catherine. Always.
Thank you.
Cynthia says, thank you for this beautiful gift, Bonnie. I will light a torch and take other suggestions for action. Thanks, Cynthia. Pray for peace, Cynthia says. Exactly. Exactly.
We need peace.
Well, what am I taking away today is I'm just really happy right now. Haven't been very happy this week, or peace filled. I'm very happy right now. I have to say, Bonnie, truthfully, I was so excited about coming on Zoom today for Samhain. It is, without a doubt, my favorite day of the whole year, and it has been since I was a child. I liked it even more than Christmas. I didn't know why. I used to think it was just because of all the candy, but now I know why. I know why. I do love Samhain. And I didn't have any opportunity to be with like-minded women today other than this. And I was so excited. I couldn't wait for this morning to come. And knowing you were facilitating it too made it extra special. So I'm just really, really happy. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll be thinking of you today in your travels. And blessed be. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Yes, I must say you have helped to light up the screen today.
Oh.
So as we close Sacred Space with gratitude again for the air realm and the ability to be together, to share our thoughts and our concerns, and to be supported by the elements, by the God of our understanding, and knowing that we carry on the traditions, the meaningful actions that have come down to us through the centuries. We need to hold ourselves as dear and be gentle and kind and compassionate with ourselves and others as we move through a time of great change, great emotional shifts, and know that while we may not see exactly what we want to see, we are coming to our highest good. And as long as we hold that intention, all will be well. So much love to each of you. Juliana, wonderful have you on for the first time. And to my dear sisters, hopefully see you again soon. And To those of you on the recording, if you'd like to reach out, I'm always glad to hear from you, Bonnie at wisetransformation.com, and we'll see you all soon. Be well.
You too, Bonnie. Travel safely. Be at peace.
Thank you.